this map. Now let's look at the red, the natural gas. The drama of the moment is Nord Stream. Now that is a subsea pipeline that goes directly from Russia under the Baltic all the way to Germany. It is their primary support. It is what allows their industry to function, and at the moment it is offline. The Russians have been jacking with it with ever more seriousness ever since they started having problems back post-Kiev. The problem is marginal supply. Energy prices, because energy demand is broadly inelastic, takes its entire pricing structure from whatever that last few percent is. The Germans, because of the Energiewende and the shutting down of nuclear plants, have removed a lot of their base load. And then the Russian stuff happened on top of that. And so almost all of their supply, the majority of their supply now is marginal. And so of course their prices are very, 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 very high. Now the problem in Germany versus the United States is not just the availability of supply. The problem is that we're a lot less interested in where our inputs come from. And being a large diversified economy like the United States, like NAFTA, means that a lot of things come from a lot of places, and the margin can't demand what it wants like it can in Germany. Because in Germany, they take Russian cheap natural gas, they process that into petrochemicals. That is the foundation of their heavy and their medium manufacturing, including automotive. You remove that base material, the rest of the German manufacturing system collapses. And we're already seeing shutdowns at places like BASF. German manufacturing will be dead within a year and a half. I know that we're used to being more worried about China here, but Germany's not coming back. If the war ended tomorrow, it's probably already too late. We're now in a situation where the pipelines that flow through the war zones are Germany's only reliable supply. This is going to get significantly worse for them. Anyone use steel? Do we care about steel? Okay. Working from left to right, you mine the iron ore, you throw it into a blast furnace, you get an intermediate product called pig iron, and then based on how good you are and what you need, you turn it into hot or cold rolled steel. Hot rolled is the ugly stuff. We use that for automobile frames and I-beams, places where you won't see it. Cold rolled is the pretty stuff. You use that for cladding and high-end manufacturing. You guys are primarily interested in the hot rolled for pipes. Now here in the United States, again, we're pretty agnostic about where we get stuff. So we don't do a lot of the core blast furnace smelting. We will take someone else's pig iron and we will then turn that into our finished product. Now this means a couple of things. First of all, remember with neon, that means we don't even have air separation units because we don't even have the blast furnaces. So if we want a new neon supply, you're talking 3 years just to build out the physical infrastructure in the first place. 3 years of going analog. Fun. For pipes, we make about half of what we use. We import the other half. One of our largest suppliers of pipes used to be Russia. The half that we make ourselves is almost exclusively made with imported pig iron, of which 3/4 of which comes from Russia and Ukraine. Now, Russia is obviously a political issue. Ukraine is a non-issue. The entire Ukrainian metals industry is offline. Either it's in a place like Zaporizhzhia, where the power is out, it's in a place like Donetsk, where it's been captured, or it's a place like Mariupol, where it's been destroyed. We've lost about 10% of global steel capacity because of the war. We've lost about 3/4 of access to pig iron on a global scale. On the off chance you care about green tech, it's not as simple as most people think. What we've got here are the materials that go into various sorts of green tech. At the top, vehicles, at the bottom, power generation. It's about an order of magnitude more complicated in terms of sourcing the materials in the first place, and the things that have boxes around them, that's where Russia is a primary supplier. We can't have globally financially accessible volumes of fossil fuels without the Russians. And we absolutely cannot do the green transition without them. All right, one more minor issue before we get to the big stuff.